Hey everybody, it's Greg the Gamer. Hey, welcome back to the channel today. Paradox dropped its first dev diary for the new Gute Dämmerung DLC for Hearts of Iron 4. So I wanted to get my thoughts out going over this dev diary. So today's diary is focusing on Austria, of course. They have a little trailer you can go and watch on the side here. If you look down here, starting out in Austria, they do have a few problems that they're going to be dealing with. One of which is the Water Wandlasher or whatever. So Austria is going to be starting out with a few issues. So it is non-aligned, but it's going to be under an authoritarian regime. So there's really no political parties. The Vaterfandland or whatever the Austrian fascist party that has outlawed every other party, including the Austrian NDSAP. So Austria is in a kind of a broken state initially, as you've come out of the Great War, and the Austro-Hungarian Empire has dissolved. So you have economic problems to fix, you have political problems to fix, and Germany is going to be coming for you at some point for the Anschluss. So you always have that in the back of your mind that you're going to need to worry about. So we can kind of see the Austrian focus tree here. Feel free to zoom in the best you can and try to get any detail out of this if you can. Yeah. So interwar Austria here. So basically, this is kind of setting up Austria in 36. So we have widespread unemployment. Not great. We have this insurance here, which is insurance program has allowed our enlisted to buy life insurance. Interesting. So we did get some political power out of that and recruitable pop, which is going to be very handy as Austria is not going to have a lot of folks. We're also recovering from the economic depression. So not the only country dealing with the Great Depression, which that's pretty healthy amount of consumer goods factories taken, 20%. Being that a country that really doesn't have that many factories to begin with, that's gonna suck. We also have the Treaty of Saint-Germain-en-Laye here. This is crushing. So it's basically a treaty that was imposed on Austria after Austria-Hungary broke apart after the Great War. And just like Germany's dealing with, and a lot of other countries, we have to try to get rid of this treaty as quickly as possible or try to get around it. As you can see, the factory output, negative 50%, facility construction speed, negative 100%, and military factory construction, negative 75%. Wow! Those are some nasty debuffs. So we're going to have to fix that as quickly as possible as Austria, all the while knowing that Germany's going to be coming for you here pretty soon. We also have Austrofascism, so looks like we have stability from that. We're gaining fascist support, acceptance, and support for non-aligned, which is interesting. So it says just after the Great War, Austria operated as a republic with decently functioning elections and a parliamentary system. However, paramilitary groups still clash frequently, and these clashes led to numerous conflicts. Perhaps the most notable was the July Revolt of 1927, when the Ministry of Justice was burned to the ground by the Social Democratic paramilitary group Republikaner Schutzbund. I don't know. Conservative segments grew much more stronger following this uprising. So, effectively, we have a one-party government. All other parties were outlawed. And we do have that Austro-fascism. And this guy here, Kurt, is the current leader of Austria. So, Austria is in not a great state. So, it looks like for the historical branch here, we come down here. We'll go ahead and zoom in here a little bit and see if we can pull some of this detail out. So, totalitarian, safety, clamp down on the DNSAP. We can reach out to Italy, approach democratic nations, try to get around that, try to improve our political power, maybe our war support. And looks like we have an option to get involved in the Spanish Civil War. Looks like maybe get involved in Hungary as well. So a few things we can do there. So it says the path that historical Austria will follow has them attempting to secure the guarantees they were promised to survive the German threat. So basically what's going to happen is, so up here again, you have the Treaty of Saint-Germain-en-Laye, so you're completely like defenseless. So if you don't want to get Anschluss, you need to work your way down the historic path here and try to get guarantees from the great powers to basically negate that treaty also, and to prevent Germany from just walking over the top of you. So it'll be a game of speed. It'll be a speed game for sure, trying to work your way down here before the Anschluss. So yeah, you come down here. It looks like we can go another path. If you wanted to, you could try to get closer to the German Reich and install, German-friendly advisors. So including this guy that definitely looks like he's never committed a war crime. So yeah, it looks like that's another path, but it's probably just going to take you down towards becoming a puppet state of the Reich, a Reichskommissariat. Maybe there's a mechanic where you can start to break away through autonomy a little bit faster. Of course, obviously joining the war and fighting would be a way to do that. Looks like there's other means here. We can reach out to Italy. We could reach out to democratic guarantors. So again, just working your way down the path there. And if you don't want to be Anschlussed by Germany. And yeah, so we can seek an agreement or we can disregard the treaty. So obviously the right path is the spicier path. So where you just ignore the treaty. Obviously if you switch governments, you would imagine that you would be able to negate that pretty quickly. So there are different ways of going about getting rid of the Treaty of Saint-Germain-en-Laye. Appeasement may be safer, but success cannot be guaranteed. Yeah, so again, probably, the spiciest path is just going and changing the government, maybe having a civil war and then, disregarding that. Says no matter which way was chosen, the rearmament won't be necessary, obviously, because Germany is coming for you. So let's take a look at some more of the tree here in detail. Okay, so here's the Spanish Civil War bit here. It looks like maybe a way to move towards a Austro-Hungarian Empire type of playthrough, maybe here on the right, possibly. There may be some like empire stuff, heritage of the empire. This is interesting. So, yeah, proclaim Austrian Empire. It looks like there's different paths that you could go down to try to reestablish the old empire. Yeah, so blow is poised to strike. We find an assorbent and focuses to help develop Austria into a Austro-fascist corporate state. And Schutznig, as envisioned on the left, as we find, is actually part of the monarchist. Interesting. So obviously, monarchy is going to be a chief path in this focus tree as well. So you can reestablish the Austro-Hungarian Empire. So so obviously, if you come down here to Anschluss, the Anschluss system is one that's shared between all branches. It looks like we have some mechanics here for Anschlussing, which is interesting. Each branch might have a few unique ways of trying to stave off the threat, like the fascist branch seeking guarantees, but this system stays the same. Interesting. So if we zoom in here, so we have anti-Anschluss measures. So it looks like we'll be playing our little favorite mini games with the AI, trying to get garrisons established, fortifications built, maybe factories, and trying to stave off the Anschluss as much as possible. Like, I don't know how you'd be able to stave them off. Eventually they're going to come for you one way or the other, unless you submit to them willingly. And whether that is submit to them willingly, unless that's, you will become a Reichskommissariat or you simply as an Axis member, I don't know. And I don't really know how much time you would have to be able to tackle these things here. So as you can see, there's a risk level displayed. The amount of decisions available depends on the risk level. Interesting. So starting things like civilian factories, construction, extra garrisons, range into emergency conscription, fortifications. So it looks like maybe as the risk goes up of a German Anschluss, you'll get more abilities here that you can spend political power on. It's always political power. Paradox, that'd be great. Can we have some decisions where we can spend CP? I mean, everything is political power based. We don't, it'd be nice, particularly with these military things here, if we could use some of our CP points to do the same thing. All right. So if we're, that's one way to get around the Anschluss. We also have monarchism here. So so historical in all its glory, but sometimes we want something different, with both the Austrian Empire and the Austro-Hungarian Empire being somewhat recent time periods. So it looks like it's going to be Austro-Hungarian Empire, but with some flair, with some changes here. So it looks like, if we can see here, repeal the May Constitution, reestablish the Österreicher. Yeah, okay. So it looks like the legacy of the empire, we can crown a new monarch. Now, I would imagine if we crown a new monarch, a new Austro-Hungarian monarch, that the guarantors are going to be less likely to work with us to get around the Treaty of Saint-Germain-en-Laye. But, maybe we would come out stronger on the other end to resist Germany, And it does look like, actually, and I go back in here and look at this as well, it looks like we do also get claims on reclaiming our territory for the old empire, which is pretty cool. And even if you go down to the bottom here, you can see the war against Bolshevism, so crusade on communism. So that's pretty cool too. And it looks like we do have options to maybe make alliances here on the left to strengthen the Austro-Hungarian Empire. So that's pretty cool. So by ripping up the old May Constitution, Austria can start down a new path, and with the monarchist path, it starts with reinstating the Herrenhaus. Okay, so yeah, so it looks like we'll start to be able to break which way we want to go or another. So interesting. So, like, if you want to maintain kind of Brown party support, but quote unquote non-line, looks like you can go that flavor of monarchist, or just straight up monarchist with the Habsburgs returning, which is pretty cool. Definitely a different spin on it. Of course, both of these men can later go on to become Prince the King. Okay, so, and then you also get a new snazzy flag. Cool. So yeah, King of Austria. Those are some good, there's some good buffs. Recruitable population, half percentage there, not too bad. Yeah, not too bad at all. So, and as we continue down here, it looks like we'll have more options to add flavor to our monarchist playthrough. So we can subjugate the lands of old. It looks like we have some war claim options here. Reclaim Habsburg, war against the guarantors. So yeah, against the allies here. We can reform the central powers. That's cool. Strengthen numbers if you go down maybe the Brown version of monarchist here. Also Royal Alliance. I don't know what that is exactly. Maybe there's other monarchists around Europe. Cool. Yeah, and it looks like there's a couple research options here, or rather some extra research slots that we could pick up. So, Second Brothers War, the Greater German State. So, now this one's kind of interesting. I wonder what in the world this is. I wonder if this gives you claims on Germany. It's probably up here, the claims for the Second Brothers War, but I wonder if you get cores on Germany as Austria. Well, that would be really fun. So, yeah, we just go through here, the joint focus tree. It looks like there'll be some options for puppeting. If we come down here, this is interesting. So yeah, again, reclaiming the lands of the old Austro-Hungarian Empire. We have Austrian Czechoslovakia here. Austria, of course. Austria-Hungary. Now this is interesting. So options to subjugate Poland, Romania, Yugoslavia. Wow, you're just bringing back all the hits here. So I wonder if you get cores on this territory after you go down the tree. That would be interesting. Obviously, if you could, that would be quite powerful. And I wonder, what are the odds of them actually subjugating when you hit those political power points here? Yeah, so military... Okay, so, yeah, okay, I just answered my own question. Chances could be further boosted by successfully completing one of the following decisions. Military exercises on the border, armed guards, industrial bribery, interesting. Austrian-Polish military exercises. So it looks like there'll be other options that we could spend CP or political power on in here. in Poland as an example here to increase the odds they would accept subjugation. But of course, obviously, if you subjugate them, then Germany's going to have war claims on you, I'd imagine, for Danzig. So if we come down here, we do have more, right here, more options here for reclaiming the lands of old, subjugate Poland, Romania, okay. Yep, right here, install Habsburg monarch in the Austria-Hungary, install Habsburg monarch in Austrian Czechoslovakia. Interesting. Okay, so you're just bringing back all the Habsburgs, so I didn't know there was that many left, but yeah. Reclaim the Habsburg. Our own homeland, still not within our control. The Habsburgs have not forgotten our humble beginnings, the villages of Habsburg. Interesting. So there you go, and you get claims on Switzerland. Very spicy. I like that. Okay, so we've got a lot of options here for monarchist playthrough. I know a lot of people are going to be interested in that. Democratic Austria, and this is probably the most controversial of all of them. Probably the more difficult of all of them, actually. So we could reinstate democracy in Austria. Let's see here. It looks like we do have a pretty big path for doing so. Obviously, if we become democratic, it should be easier to get rid of that treaty, Saint-Germain-en-Laye, from the guarantors and everything, since we'd be of the same political party. So that would probably be the easiest way to get rid of that treaty. It looks like we've got some options for we can join the Allies, or we could create the Alpine Federation, kind of like Switzerland. At least I think so. I think that was a Swiss thing. I don't ever play as Switzerland, but I think that was the Swiss thing. Inviting the little ententes. Interesting. So we could bring, even if they form another faction, we could bring them in as well. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, the right to rearm. Yeah, it looks like there's some interesting stuff here. Maybe a chance to pick up some more research slots and to get some bonuses to diplomacy here. So the potential to bring in a lot of friends. So that's pretty cool. And then deal with the German threat and then end European fascism. So yeah, you'll get some bonuses for taking on fascist countries in Europe. Very cool. So yeah, interesting. So this is just some of the political advisors here that we can choose through our election system. Kurt here, yeah, he's an okay leader. Stability, surrender, absolute social democrat. This guy here, Carl, he's not that bad. Plus 10 democracy support, so that'd be really good if you want to go down that democratic path. This guy right here, right-wing Democrat. Drift defense could be handy. Now this is interesting. So you're building both blue and brown support in your country at the same time. Perfectly balanced as all things. All three Democratic candidates have their strengths, and they all lean different ways politically. Renner will have access to one extra communist focus, but otherwise will have much of a difference. Interesting. So this guy will have more, another communist branch here. With a democratic system in place, surely you would be safe from the threat of Anschluss. Unfortunately not. Yeah, well, that's what you would expect. But it looks like we do get some bonuses here. The right to rearm. So, yeah, going against the wishes of the guarantors might cause diplomatic consequences ranging from lowered opinion to retracted guarantees. Interesting. Now, I don't really know why we would have to fight with them if we're the same political party as the Allies. They should allow us to just skirt around that treaty. You would think so, particularly if Germany is getting ready to Anschluss us, but I don't know, it seems like maybe there's another mechanic here that we have to go down and in order to rearm anyway, which is going to definitely make it a lot more difficult, particularly in the time that we have before Germany comes knocking. And this one right here, now this one is really pretty cool, the Danubian Federation. So it looks like we'll have another chance to kind of create our own alliance here. We can go monarchists. Let's see here. Okay, so yeah, so this was maybe kind of in the middle here, so it looks like maybe we could go non-aligned, democratic or monarchist possibly. Or maybe not. Maybe it's only a Democratic Party option here. But we can create the Danubian Federation. Okay, so this is what I saw on the right here. So invite the Danubian countries, unity, reach out allies here, inviting the overseers. Oh, cool. There is a lot of potential here. If you could create this Danubian Federation, particularly with, early on with Turkey, Greece, Belgium, France, would maybe the Netherlands probably. Interesting. Yeah, and then it looks like you have an option here if Germany, Russia, or yeah, I don't know. It looks like there's some other options. If countries go historic, then you could maybe invite them as well. So this could be pretty powerful. And then Protector of the Danube, you must get some pretty nice bonuses here. Is a branch available to both democratic and monarchist branches. Okay, cool. There we go. So that's neat. The Federation starts out as a faction, but it also unlocks the joint focus tree Austro-Hungary, meaning even if you're democratic, you can now access some of the Austro-Hungarian content. Now that is cool. I really like that feature. I think that is really, really cool. All right, going left here, boys. So communism. Last out of the branches is the communist tree here. So see if we can, can't really zoom in all that well. So it looks like we've got a version of Austro-Marxism here. And the video, they said that the Austro-Marxism was a real ideology situating somewhere between social democracy and proper communism. Okay. So whatever that means precisely. So it looks like we've got some options here for rallying the people to get into power quicker, probably boosting our communism support. And then it looks like we're going to have a civil war if we go communist. So it looks like we can go left and reach out to the Soviets, like so many other things, try to get their support, like kind of reminiscent of Brazil, maybe. If we go right, we do it on our own. I wonder if we go left, if we have to become a puppet state of the Soviet Union. It looks like we can join the Comintern or establish the Danubian bloc, something like that. So like the Danubian Federation, but the communist version of that. That's interesting. So we can cut ties with the church. Where does this go precisely? Yeah, I mean, it's just going to go down, probably to get war goals and claims on all the fascist countries in Europe, most likely. The Union of Danubian Socialists. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. So I wonder if that gives us ticking communism support in Yugoslavia and elsewhere in the Baltics, or and see if we can maybe get some of those countries to flip their ideologies and join our federation, something like that. It'll be kind of similar to like what you could do with Yugoslavia and try to, get everybody to turn communist there in the Balkans and get them to join your alliance. But of course, it's under a time clock, as Italy and Germany will be coming from you sooner than later. And I wonder if you go communism here, and particularly if you bring the Soviets in as your allies, maybe even join the Comintern, depending on how quickly you do this, I wonder if there's a chance for Germany to still attack you, and then you basically call in the Soviet Union to a war against Germany in like 37, 38, which would not end well for Germany, I think, but it's hard to say. And it looks like we do have some options here for interventions. So inviting exiles in Spain. Okay. Cool. Yeah, what have we got here? So as we figured out, Austria has a long way to go before it becomes a communist state. So it does seem like it is probably the harder path to go as Austria. Emergency measures here. Military factory construction speed. That's good. Civilian factory construction speed as well. Railway, non-aligned. Yeah. So at the end of the day, you're just going to have a civil war every time if you go the communist path. All right. So we do have some on the military and industry path here, or a bit of the focus tree. it looks like we do have an option to improve our industry here. Maybe some efficiency bonus. So this is infrastructure, maybe some efficiency bonuses here, or to help get rid of some of the Great Depression debuffs that we have, maybe at this part of the focus tree, and then to improve your industry here. Okay, cool. It's small, for sure, but I actually don't mind that. I think that's probably a good thing. You can get through this quicker, particularly with Germany coming to do the Anschluss. I think a smaller tree is really good. And it looks like we do have an Air Force, or potential for an Air Force. It doesn't look like we have an Air Force currently when we start out, but it looks like we have a pretty lean and mean Air Force focus tree here, so that we can get some buffs towards domestic aircraft production or purchasing foreign aircraft. Kind of the hits for sure. We get some paratrooper tech. Looks fine. I don't know potentially how, obviously it's all going to relate back to the Anschluss, right? So if we can't take or get, deal with Germany, then all this is not going to really matter. And then we have the army branch here. Secret rearmament, just like Hungary. Okay, so we can go standardized army. It looks like maybe both, or maybe choose one or the other. Okay. Interesting. So maybe more of militia versus standardized army. Not really sure there. Yeah, it looks like we can go kind of traditional. We can fortify down here. If you want to make Fortress Austria, you could do that. Interesting. Looks like we do have an option to even come down here and build some Austrian tanks. That's pretty cool. And some army leaders here, rather. Field Marshal Alfred Jansa and Franz Bohme. Interesting. So, not too bad in the way of officers here. And we do have reestablishing a navy tree. Interesting. So, obviously, it all kind of depends if you can reestablish the old Austro-Hungarian Empire or some kind of version of it so that you have access to dockyards. But we have a lean and mean navy focus tree here. So reestablish the navy. We could rebuild the armada or defend the coast with like coastal, defense ships or maybe submarines. Yeah, cool. I don't know. Naval Austria is not something I would ever imagine I would hear. So, conclusion. There you go. It looks like, here's showing off some of the potential new models for the units here. I like this Austro-Hungarian cavalry guy here, maybe Hussar, and some of the early planes. That's cool. Those look good. So, anyway, that's kind of the conclusion here, guys. So, it looks like we have Austria. So, First Nation for Götterdammerung has been announced. And it looks like we've got quite a few options, a pretty big, pretty chunky focus tree for Austria here. So with a lot of potential here. So we can go down monarchist paths. We can go historic, communist, different flavors of monarchist, I should say. And it looks like everything is kind of, focused towards the one thing, and that is to protect Austria from the Anschluss, one way or the other with Germany. So, which will be a very delicate threading thing that you're going to have to do. Kind of sounds similar in a way to Switzerland, but maybe, hopefully not as crappy in my opinion, because I really don't like playing as Switzerland. I'm sorry, guys. I know there's probably somebody out there that does, but the methods for keeping one country appeased over another is just kind of ridiculous. So hopefully it's not quite like that. But there we have it. We have Austria, first nation announced in the rework for in the first dev diary. Anyways, I don't want to string this out any longer than it needs to be, so I hope you guys learn a little something here, and please consider subbing to the channel for more dev diaries in the future. It looks like they're going to be coming out every Monday, and I will do a reaction video on them. So anyways, I hope you guys have a great afternoon. I will be back with you soon. Take care.